Welcome back to the Diginachi sequence. I am XRPsean, and today we're lucky enough to have Crypto Heavy. What's up, Jerron?
Hey, what's going on, man? Happy to be back.
Man, what a big day. Monumental week. How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm bullish. I'm super bullish right now. So it's exciting times going into this week. Well, the weekend, starting with the weekend going into today, man, it's super exciting.
Today we're going to be talking about ISO 20022. Now, I came across this video on X that I think we should all watch, but before that, I'm going to hit this intro. This guy called Happy Daddy on X, and he's just kind of crushing it with content. If you guys aren't following him, it is Stupendous on X. He's out there crushing
Yeah, he got some really good videos. Yeah, man. He lay it down real good.
See what he's got to say.
I am tired of other influencers lying about ISO 20022 just because they are pretentious douchebags who want to hang on to one detail and think that they are the godsend of crypto info. Yes, ISO 20022 is good for crypto. Any influencer who says otherwise is hard lying to you. I think the common douchebag statement from influencers is, "You have no clue what ISO 20022 really is. Only I do." No, my guy. You have no clue what ISO 20022 is. I'm going to break it the fuck down. It is not a messaging system, for one. And just to clarify and show you to yourself how wrong you are for thinking it is, pay attention to what you think in your own head when you think ISO 20022 is a messaging system. Most likely, you picture a software system that's installed, and your brain may even conflate it with associations like text messaging as a basis for a messaging system. Well, that's all wrong. It's not a messaging system, it's a standard, which I've done numerous videos on this, namely episode 42, Hitchhiker's Guide to ISO 20022. So to clarify, if your brain still associates ISO 20022 to something like text messaging, let's shift that thought over to, let's say, writing messages on a piece of paper. Now let's call that piece of paper your essay. What on this piece of paper is comparable to ISO 20022? MLA format. That is a writing standard, just like ISO 20022 is a standard. It's not a system, it's a standard format for other systems to use. So when people say that XRP is ISO 20022 compliant, it means that Ripple has systems in place, primarily RippleNet, that have adopted that standard for communication, allowing XRP to be utilized with ISO 20022 compliant systems. Can XRP itself be ISO 20022 compliant? You are picking fine hairs here. Is the pencil you are writing with in MLA format? You see how stupid that sounds? RippleNet's integration with XRP and the XRP ledger, which makes XRP the backbone for those ISO 20022 compliant payment systems. There's no other crypto out there that's more closely integrated into ISO 20022 compliant systems than XRP.
Man, he says it right there.
Look, hey, he dropping jewels, man. Hey, look, he is. I love that whole like the MLA format and just a pencil. Like that's, I mean, very basic, analogy, and it just correlates well with this whole protocol. It's crazy. I think people get confused with the messaging part of it for sure.
Yeah, they think it's a messaging platform, and I'll be honest, when I first came out, I thought it was too. I was like, oh, it's it's emails and stuff. Ripple has positioned themselves to basically take hold and take lead of this new compliancy. So I love his confidence.
Yeah.
Love his beard.
That's a lot of influencers who like on the other side who play the devil's advocate to like XRP and like the ISO 022. So like he's speaking to them, which is perfect because like they say all the time, well, it's just the messaging. You need to have the messaging app. This is going from one bank to the other, before it's settled, and he laying that down and laying it to rest. So like, I love the way he like breaks it down because it's more to it than just that, which is what most people in the XRP community has been saying.
I'm not surprised to see the Bitcoin and Ethereum maxis be the ones attacking the ISO movement and the standard.
Yeah, because they're not a part of it.
Nope. Left out. Well, let's keep rocking and see what else he's got to say.
You can stand on the XRP itself isn't compliant argument all day. That's not the point. ISO 20022 standard creates the adoption opportunities for crypto to be utilized in compliant systems like RippleNet. You think that your strawman argument means that crypto has nothing to do with ISO 22 compliant because you're right about this one thing. You're wrong about everything. Influencers like this who desperately need to be right communicates solely on ego desperation and has no clue what they're talking about, but desperately need you to believe that they do by attacking other influencers, which I'm sick of seeing. Unfortunately, he's not the only influencer that does this, because apparently I'm doing it right now. So self-awareness is not lost on me here, but that's why I didn't tag any of the influencers that I seen making these comments in this video. I kept them out. But this standard doesn't do anything for crypto. Wrong. Like always, wrong. Let's focus on Ripple as an example. And you'll see why soon. Ripple was the first blockchain company to adopt this standard. Ripple joined as a member of the ISO 20022 Registration Management Group, the technical committee responsible for financial services standards. I think they did it back in 2020. Membership grants them participation in defining the standard's business messaging schema and implementation guidelines. Their role as a member, Ripple helps shape how new types of financial transactions, including those involving distributed ledger technology, are defined in ISO 20022 messages. So if there was never intention of distributed ledger technology integrating and adoption into ISO 20022 standard, why has Ripple been a member for 5 years helping advise on how the standard can better work with distributed ledger technology? The XRP ledger has an amendment called XLS 56, or atomic operations. These atomic operations allow every transaction on the XRP ledger to handle 8 operations per transaction. These complex and coded operations bundle or batch every aspect of a transaction. For example, you want a cross-border payment to someone in the UK for $500. The atomic operation will batch all 8 steps into one transaction. It will lock 500 RLUSD from your wallet, convert RLUSD to XRP, run anti-money laundering and know your customer compliance checks, send XRP across XRPL to the UK, swap XRP to British pound or stablecoin, which is GBPG, deduct service provider fee, credit the recipient with GBPG, then log full transaction data for audit. That's an example of 8 operations that can be handled in one transaction.
I mean, that breakdown is outrageous.
Man,
I wish I can articulate it as well as he did, because that is phenomenal.
oh man, any of my XRP buddies that reach out and ask about this week, I'm just gonna send them this video.
Literally,
Like,
it's literally so great, man. Like, man,
like look at that.
Like,
I don't think anybody's breaking it down like this as far as that easy, but also that complex. But he does make a beautiful point that basically these 8 steps, that's the new system. That is a new path. That is what's acceptable. You can't tell me that 99% of the cryptos out there can do this.
You also can't say that institutions won't be like, yes, let me do that. That is way more simple than what we've been doing in the past. Like, it's a no-brainer, like, for them to want to utilize this and get this going.
Damn. Happy Daddy getting it. All right, we'll keep going.
That's an example of 8 operations that can be handled in one transaction. If one of those operations fail, the entire transaction stops. That's what atomic operations does. The legacy Swift TM systems couldn't carry that level of data. So that is a real-world technical example of how ISO 20022 better helps integrate distributed ledger technology into the banking systems. Because now ISO 20022, as compared to the older systems, can handle that level of data. And if you don't believe me, fact check me. You can define multi-step transaction chains using group header message identification, instruction identification, end-to-end identification. These could support external atomicity triggers when paired with programmable smart contracts or settlement engines like XRP Ledger. And like I said before, the old systems cannot do this at all. ISO 20022 also supports the use of official DTI codes for cryptocurrencies. If crypto had no place in ISO 20022 standard, why would it be designed to support identifiers made specifically for digital assets? That's because of ISO 24165, another ISO standard built specifically for digital token identifiers, or DTIs. Seems weird, right? That there are other ISO standards out there. I think some of these guys forget that ISO 20022 isn't the only standard in play. ISO 24165 and ISO 20022 work together. ISO 24165 defines and issues DTI codes to crypto tokens, and ISO 20022 allows those codes to be referenced in global payment systems. And just for the record, XRP already has a DTI code. Simply XRP. DTIs enable regulated institutions to list, reference, and trade crypto tokens in standardized formats, just like stocks have ISIN codes. As a bonus, RippleNet also provides a unified API for ISO 20022 compliance. Instead of building different connections for each country, currency, or partner, they just connect once to RippleNet, a unified API, and it handles everything in the background: ISO 20022 messaging, currency conversions, XRP liquidity, compliance, and tracking. Here's an analogy to close everything out. Before ISO 20022, each country or bank had its own roads and traffic rules. Sending money internationally was like navigating a patchwork of unconnected streets with different languages and signals. ISO 20022 paves all those roads into a uniform superhighway with standardized signage and lanes. Now, any vehicle or payment that can drive on ISO 20022 roads can reach any destination with no confusion. Every transaction follows the same rules. This analogy that I'm giving you, RippleNet and XRP are the high-speed trains or electric cars on that superhighway. They clear customs instantly, use almost no tolls, and getting away from the analogies, as more banks adopt ISO 20022, traffic grows exponentially, which is exactly how ISO 20022 will boom the market. By unifying data formats and APIs globally, ISO 20022 effectively plugs crypto and blockchain systems into the mainstream payment rails. Ripple and XRP was and is already the first on that platform. So let's focus on the future now, because things are looking good. We got our typical weekend dip, and on Monday all those systems go live. So let's stay positive and spread that love, because we're all going to have a good year. Wealth, love, and authenticity to you all.
Man.
Yeah, this video is a classic, man. Like, it's a classic, and it's cycling through X. So he did a great job, man. Like, he really did. The breakdown is phenomenal. So I mean, like I said, for anybody who knew or got questions about what this is actually going to be, like, that video is I haven't seen one better than that one, to be honest with you. It's great.
It could be stupendous. You guys got to give him a follow. You got to give him a follow. He goes, I think he used to be called something else, but he's now Happy Daddy, which I really enjoy that. And if you want to follow him, on X, it's Stupendous. That's STUPORPENDUS. Dude's crushing souls out there.
Yeah, man. He got some gems in there.
I definitely got to send this to my Bitcoin Maxi buddies.
Just to get them riled up. That'll get them going.
And we really didn't see too much of any kind of dip happen this weekend. I mean, what's XRP sitting at right now?
It was like in the 90s still, 290 something.
I woke up this morning, we hit $3.
Yeah.
Beautiful. 30 something. And then that was really early. Went back to sleep for another hour and then woke up again. And it was still 301.
I figured it'd be a small dip. Like, I figured it wouldn't, but we needed to hold $3, but I figured it would drop. I was kind of expecting like the sell the news type of thing.
Yep.
So I thought it was going to drop a little bit lower, but like you said, it held all weekend. So just the beginning though. So like, we'll see, the week should pick up. Bitcoin's still going up. So we need that to happen so that they can sell off and Bitcoin dominance drop. So
question that I've chatted about with several people is, what do we do when it starts going up? There's going to be so many opportunities to be able to lend your XRP out, i.e. staking or whatever they decide it's going to be with our new legislation coming up, because that's where the big dogs are going to wait. That's kind of where I'm waiting to see where the legislation is going to take us, so that I feel a lot more comfortable with lending out XRP for any amount of time.
I think that it'll be based off everybody's situation, right? So some people been waiting a long time. So some people going to sell off at certain parts of it, depending on when you bought it. And then, but definitely not all of it, but a certain percentage to uplift your life, to upgrade your life, or, get you out of a situation. So, but the long term should be to not sell, to lend against it, to stake it, to be able to finding out what DeFi can do to really maximize it, because that's the play that gives you wealth. Like, that's the generational wealth. Selling it for fiat is not going to get you that. Like, it's going to get you right back in the same system. And it's kind of scary because people keep talking about like the cycles and if it's going to drop, so I'm going to sell and buy back into it. The problem is we don't know if we are in that cycle where we're going to do another 4 years where we go through a bear market for 3 years. It's like utilization and adoption happening in real time right now. And it don't feel like the same cycles. And I wasn't in the last cycles, but like just from what everybody said, it don't feel the same. So we more or less looking like we heading upward to the 2030, like where XRP is, running the rails and everything is running on the blockchain. And you may not get a chance to buy for $2 or $3. Like, it may go up and we don't know what the bottom could be, but it could be double digits. It could be, high $8, $9. And that's the floor. You're trying to buy back into it. And it's like, you don't get as much, you don't have that much power. So it's a dilemma depending on how you got it. So but I definitely recommend people looking at their situation, but selling your whole XRP bag should not be an option.
Not at all. And Coach JV talks a lot about exit strategy with his app Merlin that they developed to really help guide people. It really is a responsible thing to be able to stick to your guns and say, hey, I've allocated 10% to sell here, 10% at the next stop, and so on. Our gentle giant Will is not here to talk about his exit strategy, but it really hasn't changed over the past few years, which that's highly respectable. You're right. Everybody's different. Everybody's been either saving, or maybe you've got a house to pay off. Maybe you got student loans to pay off that aren't going to be forgiven. It's all up to you guys. It's not up to us. It's what feels right to you.
Right. But you definitely got to have a plan. That's the key takeaway. Because if you wait for euphoria and you wait for people, the influencers telling you that it's going to keep going up and just hold and don't sell, and you waiting for this magical number this cycle, it could come, we don't know, but it could not come, and maybe it comes in lower and you didn't sell, and then you watch it go back down. I was watching a Mickle video and he was kind of saying, he was like, the narrative of like $10 XRP, like that's what everybody keeps talking about, and like, selling at $10 and then watching it drop. And he was like, but you don't know that that's where it's going to be at. It could go to 15, 20. We don't know. Nobody does. We all speculating, and this cycle is different. So it's not like previous cycles, because legislation is this week. ISO going live is happening right now. We know where it should be and where it could go, but we don't know what time frame, that's going to happen. So people got to be ready with their exit strategy if they got one. I do. I use Merlin too. I'm a user of Merlin. I like it. It gives you like the tax breakdown so you can know based off your state, which is pretty helpful. So
yeah. When it comes to revolutionary technology, no matter if it's the oil boom, the .com era, or right now, or cell phones, it doesn't matter. Once the internet started, there was no like, are we still going to go back to mailing things? And
right.
There was a little bit of time there, but the market makers kind of give you that hesitation like they're doing right now. They're going to do what they can to price everybody out, to continue to sell, because they don't have to move much to make us think, oh, well, ISO is now online, but now the price has dropped a little bit. This is trash. Why would I get into it? That's what they're counting on. They're counting on you to get out just based on a few tiny moves that they make to make you think it's not happening. The same thing happened with .com. The same thing happened. Well, I wasn't around for the oil boom, but when it's happening, the inertia takes over, and you better hope you at least grabbed on.
Smart money manipulates the market every time. So they know what they've been doing it for years, and they do it well, knowing that they play off of retail's emotions. So if you get emotional, you make emotional decisions that could cost you millions of dollars. Like we know this is an asset class, but it's technology, man. It's a protocol. It's the new financial system. So it's more to it than we even know because we retail. So we basing it off the information they're giving us. But like, I'm sure behind the scenes, this is way bigger than we could ever imagine. And when it comes out, we'll be patting ourselves on the back like, hell yeah, we knew it. But right now we still don't know. We just speculating and we going off of what they're giving us. So, but it's lining up like this is going to be something special and something transformational that we're going to use and our kids is going to use going in the future. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. You think about Amazon when it came out and people didn't think Amazon was going to be Amazon, but look at it. That's what everybody uses. So we looking at something totally similar to that, but it's the financial institutions. It's going to be crazy. Going to be crazy.
I love that they coined the term Internet of Value.
Uh-huh.
That's so cool. I was like, man, who came up with that?
Yeah, right. And it's like that's just the finance part. Like we ain't even talking about tokenization. So it's like tokenizing everything is going to be what we know, and we haven't even got into that yet. Like that's coming, but that's not even getting rolled out yet. So
it's hard to explain to anybody really, like how the world will be tokenized,
right?
Because that house of yours, it represents a dollar amount, but now it's organized, transparent, and can be moved instantly.
Yep.
We aren't going to need so many jobs moving forward. But did you see that H-bar thing? I got to pull it up real fast. Maybe I'll plug it in this video. Robots can't take your job if you're already retired.
No, I did not see that. That is awesome.
Oh man, I saw that. I think I saw that last night, and I sent it to a few people, and I was like, "Oh man,
I love that. I love it.
Good. I'm gonna have.
I mean, they're not lying.
No,
being retired and doing what you want to do versus hoping that your job is still there. That's two different things. It's a good two different kind of lives that people are gonna be living, man.
It's best not to think right now that it's too late to get in. It is later than some. But ultimately, when these assets are, let's say XRP sub $3 right now, if something like that blooms into a 3 and 4 and 5 figure amount over the next decade, if you were able to get in under 5, you're changing your family's lives. It's not a lot to start putting a very small amount.
That's the key though. It's like people they think they too late, but it's not too late. It's still so early in innovation. It takes so much longer than we even expect. So the media is starting to come around, but they still don't say it enough about, they talk about the already invested people. They're not talking about other people investing. You never hear that. You never hear them say like, hey, this is a good opportunity for people to invest in this technology because what it can do and how it's progressing. They don't talk about that. They talk about the already invested, but they make it seem like those are Bitcoiners and people that got a lot of money. They don't talk about like average guys that's working at Amazon, guys like us who just live in our life and we just found the technology and found this opportunity. They don't talk about those people. They don't interview those people. They don't put a spotlight on that kind of stuff because they don't want people to know what's happening. They want to keep it as close as they can to their pockets so they can continue to accumulate at these prices. So, people, these accounts like us, like who give out the knowledge and keep it real with people, like it's still time to go out there and buy.
We have weeks, maybe, hopefully not months, but we do have weeks before some sort of legislation is pushed onto the desk of the president that he's going to sign, and these things are going to be into law. Yep. Once that happens, that's when the game changes. That's when big institutions immediately get in. And at that point in time, the stroke of the pen, it may be too late because all of that XRP, XLM, HBAR, all of those things are going to be purchased off of the exchanges immediately. They might be able to find some private sales. It's going to be hard to find that stuff when the institutions start buying it all up. And that is the supply shock that everybody's talking about right now. So buckle your seatbelts, man.
You saw, I think they came out with something, the first notice that they gave today was like the OCC, the FDIC, they all came out and said that banks can custody crypto. They came out with a whole memo for them and like kind of the breakdown. And it basically got to be the same kind of rules that they use for any other assets they got to use that under the crypto investment if you want to hold it or help with customers and stuff like that. So it's coming. Like that's a huge bomb. Like that's giving a green light for banks, institutions to custody crypto. The only thing I didn't like, they said something about like they would have to get your keys essentially, and you as a consumer wouldn't have it. No, I don't agree with that. But for the people who don't like holding their own crypto and the older clientele that doesn't really know how to use a wallet, oh, that's perfect. They don't care about that. Are you going to cover my stuff? Is it covered under the insurance? Cool, we good. Like, here you go. This is what I want to allocate towards these cryptocurrencies. So it's game time. Like, these banks are they're going to go hard trying to get as much as they can from us and new people because they want that on their balance sheet. So,
and what better bank to wait on than Ripple itself?
Yes, sir.
Seriously.
Yes, sir.
That's who I'm going to feel comfortable holding on to my XRP.
Absolutely.
So we'll pay you 3, 6, 12 months, 24 months, and we'll pay you this in return to hold on to it.
Where I sign up.
Yeah,
where do I sign?
Brad and DAI have been talking about this for years, that they're positioning themselves to become a bank, a trust. Lo and behold, here we are.
It's wild, man. It's wild. Like the speculations of become a reality it's a beautiful thing, man. It really is.
Here we go. Well, Duran, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. It's been an exciting Monday so far. I'll probably try to put this out in a couple hours or something. We've got a crazy week ahead of us just to kind of see what develops over in the government sector.
We got to check back in on Friday, man. See what happened. See how the week ends, you know?
Yeah. Let's hop back on, see where it's at. Much love to you, brother.
Hey, man. Appreciate you, man. I'll see you next time, brother.
All right. I'm XRP Sean.
Crypto Heavy, man. See you next time.